good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back to RIPDebt23 2023. I am your host for this block of games. Groucho Barks is my name. And with me is Jack4l, who will be doing Hotline Miami Return to Revenge. But before we start, I do want to reintroduce this event. It is RIPDebt23 2023. We are raising money for RIPDebt. RIPDebt is an organization that is aimed to relieve medical debt, which affects about 1 out of 3 Americans in this country. How it works is they buy debt in bundles, millions of dollars at a time, with your donations, and that relieves debt at 100 times the value of its donation. So every dollar that you donate to the cause for medical debt, it relieves about $100 worth of medical debt. So your donations the donation goes a long way there. So please, you can use bot Janet in chat to do !donate, and you'll be able to donate. But without further ado, let me go ahead and have Jack4l get started on his run. Jack4l, go ahead, take it away.
Thank you. Hello everyone, I'm Jack4l, and to begin with I want to give a quick disclaimer that if you don't know by now what Hotline is about, this game features consistent scenes of flashing lights and high-impact violence, although pixelated. So if you're by any means not comfortable with watching this type of content, then I would strongly suggest you to not to watch this. The estimate is at 29 minutes by that time I should be done. I suspect the final time to be somewhere around 25, so rest of things we can explain on the fly. So timer will start as I hit the start game in 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, so this is quite a fast-paced game, and I need to focus on things and blah blah blah. So unfortunately I won't be able to look at chat, but I appreciate every single input you make. Yeah, so Richard's Revenge is a fun-based mod, which was introduced 4 years afterwards the game's release, and its entire purpose is to combine all of the individual mask perks into a single one. Like in this game we have a bunch of masks which give unique perks. There's like a mask that increases my movement speed, there's a mask that gives me lethal throws, the other ones give lethal doors, extended ammo count, and all of this has just been combined into a single one. Yeah, so the thing is that this version is based on original version of the game. Like there are 2 versions, there's the original version and updated version. I don't know if anyone remembers, but I've been running this game on first Meteor installment, and I was doing it 6 times in a row for a grand total of like 2.5 hours. And this was naturally on the updated version because it's more technically stable, whereas original is not at all really. So the original has a bunch of problems to begin with, like memory leak issues. For some people it happens even before they are able to finish a run. For me it doesn't, for some reason. I can complete a run no problem before the crash even happens. So you probably will ask me why not just to make the mod on updated version. Yeah, so the thing is that modding original is pretty easy because it's based on Game Maker 4. There's like in the internet you can find probably some zip file where you can find both the Game Maker and the compiled game, and you're pretty much free to mod the game the way you want. Whereas the updated version of the game is based on sort of exclusive engine we don't have access to. We have recently found a way to modify its assets, but not the actual gameplay, so we just have to bear with the original for these purposes, I guess. Yeah, so this man is a boss, but I don't have to necessarily fight. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, so I could skip this boss fight if I like. During the screen transitions, I just attack, so then I just break the trigger and I can enter the car right away without doing all of this stuff I had to do otherwise. It says, I don't know, like 15 seconds and it's exclusive to original version. So the original version has a bunch of other disadvantages due to bad programming. Like, for example, you can see this time card right here. On original it freezes you by 2.5 seconds, on updated it's like half of a second, so you have around 40 seconds because the game has 20 chapters. There's just at least 40 seconds worth of time loss just because you're playing original over updated. Also, the pathfinding is really bad on original because the enemies tend to take... Oh yeah, there's a jump scare warning right now, so you might want to, you know, turn your volume a little. Alright, you ready? 3, 2, 1, boom. There we go. Yeah, also this red artifact which happens afterwards the explosion is also happens in original only. Yeah, so enemies have very bad pen fighting because they, on original, they keep glowing into the walls and taking unoptimal and unpredictable paths. And it makes a huge difference over if you're like used to play updated, which you should, by the way. And the game alone isn't really like doesn't have really some kind of advanced speed tech. Like, it's just me killing everyone on the way and just proceed forward. It's mostly a matter of you know, technical skill, so fluent movement and so. Like, we are going to have some skips on the way, but those do not by any means skip like hard part of the game. They just keep walking along. Like, for example, during these scenes, I'm quote-unquote required to enter the buildings and talk to people within. I don't have to do that because it doesn't activate any triggers required to proceed onward. Yeah, so clean hit is a first chemical level, I guess, because it features these unique enemies, waders. If I stand too close to this wall, they will not shoot me. It's an incredibly useful technique. Oh yeah, and in original also, you can literally kill people through doors while shooting because those do not block their hitboxes. So as you can see, original version is flawed in many ways. And since Richard's Revenge is basically running on it, it's still kind of a taboo topic to the community. Almost every single runner of Hotline doesn't even want to hear about this. Probably it's because it just doesn't work for them to begin with, and I think it's fair overall, so... Yeah, so what I just did is if you can see these big guys, then I'm normally required to kill them with firearm of any sort. But in this original version, there's a feature that has been straight off ripped from the sequel. So there's in the mask Tony, who can kill with fists, but in sequel Tony is an actual person, and his ability is to have little fists and little fists only. Like he cannot wield any weapons, and this execution is the only way to kill these big guys. And this fight has no RNG, by the way, because his movement is entirely dependent on mine, and I can manipulate him the way I want to. And I want to get him stuck in this table, and I want to execute him in this very specific spot because of this. There we go. Yeah, so what just happened here is I executed him while inside the wall. And if the game will see that I have executed someone inside the wall, then instead of leaving me stuck in the wall, it just sends me back to coordinates I've pressed space last time. But I don't need to press space to execute the biker. So if I have beforehand pressed the space in the elevator, then I can get teleported there instead. It looks cool, but it saves like, I don't know, 5 seconds. If you fail the setup, it's going to be a little more, I presume. Yeah, so this is the third part out of 5, and that's where the fun begins. Nevertheless, I'm just gonna do YOLO strats, quote unquote, because the speedrunning philosophy of this game is like to die often but fast, rather than not to die but be slow. Because dying in this game is not relatively very punishing, and since I have these perks stacked up, I can allow myself to do far more difficult strats than normally. Yeah, as you could see right now, there's another bad thing with the original version. I have killed everyone on the first floor, and I didn't get the notification that the stage is clear, so I could proceed onwards. It happens just out of random, and I have no idea what can cause this and the way how to prevent this from happening. And the red arrows in the screen transitions are the only clue to tell whether I have indeed completed the stage or not. Yeah, Hot and Heavy is one of the hardest levels in the game, also the best one. But most of the people hate Hot and Heavy because it's hard. But the thing is, the more you play it, the better you find it out to be, because this level only punishes you for like quote-unquote skill issue, rather than just having bot RNG. Yeah, so as you can see, I could complete it with no problem. Oh yeah, speaking of RNG, this game has a bunch of it all over the place. For example, enemy reaction times are random, and they vary from literally 0 frames to 1 and a 1/4, I think, of a second. The weapon rolls are also entirely random between M16 double barrel and pump shotgun. There are only few but pretty much irrelevant examples when these rolls are set in stone. Yeah, so now we can see the example of pathfinding being bad, because I typically have a problem with this section, because the enemies tend to enemies with finding tends to be really weird. Oh yeah, these people, they're not supposed to do that. This man is also not supposed not to move. At least contrary to updated version we normally play on. And also on original version, this man chose first Molotov significantly later than normally. Yeah, so pretty much right now we have a boring segment when you know, I just walk around and do nothing essentially. So Groucho, if you have like any marathon related announcements, then I think it's a good time for that.
Yeah, sure. So, in the meantime, I want to go ahead and reintroduce our charity here about RIP Medical Debt. RIP Medical Debt in the United States is a national crisis, and we have probably $1 trillion among the U.S. citizens that are in medical debt. It impacts, 80 to 100 million people, causing 70% bankruptcies. That's why RIP Medical Debt is in the process of buying the debt back at a rate of $1 to $100 based off donations. So every dollar that you donate goes to relieving $100 of medical debt in the U.S. So that gives a lot of relief for a lot of people. So please go ahead if you have time. We also have a bunch of incentives coming up. So please go ahead, visit the donate page, and definitely check out RIP Medical Debt while you're there as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it for now.
Okay, thank you. So although Richard's Revenge is classified as a fan-made game, then I consider it as a category with the stipulation of the game's main category of NG plus all levels, when I'm not allowed to skip any cuts, skip any levels, do any kind of menuing. Which makes sense because for some reason, if I do the menuing, then the process of game crashing significantly speeds up. Yeah, Assault is the worst level in the game because some of the mask perks just doesn't work. Like for example, my M16s are supposed to have 32 rounds. And this perk just doesn't work on this specific level. And the enemy pet fighting is just even worse. And it has crash potential in this floor specifically. Let's just hope it's not going to happen. Yeah, so I'm now gonna punch this guy through the wall because his hitbox was not programmed to be blocked by the wall. Alright, cool, the crash didn't happen. So the thing was, if I would get killed after once punching Richter through the wall, and would get killed afterwards, then the game would just crash. It would get an unhandled exception error. Yeah, I didn't get extended ammo again because it doesn't work on special idle AI either. This also applies to updated version. Yeah, as you can see, this game is really pretty much being jack of programming. Like, you don't really care about all of that if you're playing the game just casually or even for a purpose of unlocking all achievements and stuff. But naturally, these problems nothing could amplify if you're speedrunning it. Yeah, well, I believe that makes sense. The more time you play the game, the more you hate it, I guess. This applies to all of the spin games. Yeah, so in this mod, the Panthers take 3 hits to kill rather than 2, and I have to and it's important that I hide behind this pillar because of this. What the? Okay. Yeah, so the boss doesn't have animation of him pulling out MP5s, and he just shoots immediately after we advance through the cutscene. But as you can see right now, what just happened is that he didn't shoot at all. It doesn't happen often, but it's a cool thing to happen, I guess. Yeah, so that's a conclusion of the main character story, but this is not the time yet because we still have one more part to go, and we are going to play now entirely different character. Yeah, is this guy with the cleaver, whom we have quote unquote killed in boss fight in the second part. Yeah, so here's the deal. He has quite a unique playstyle because by any means he cannot pick up enemy weapons, but he has meat cleaver, which is like perfectly good melee weapon, and fruit throwing knives of perfect accuracy. So his although his ranged options are pretty much limited, I noticed a lot that people still like him. Oh yeah, also some of the mask perks persist through his levels. So I still have access to lethal doors and lethal trolls because all these perks are quote unquote inherited after showdown. Excuse me, yeah, whatever. Alright, so it was an last actual level of the game. Right now we just have to go through 2 more levels and they serve purely a story concluding purposes, so the time is coming up in like 1.5 minutes. We'll have one more trick to do though in this specific level. Okay, so on original version I can't kill this guy with throwing knife. It just goes past him. On updated it works as you know, intended. And I can there we go. Yeah, so the thing with this clip is that like I have to lure him into the wall and then to like a 90-degree angle, and the smoother arc I make, the less chance I have to connect with the clip. Alright, so so this is a very short level. I just have to go to the servers and talk to these people. Just click through the dialogues. And the time is coming in 3, 2, 1. There, that's the time. We did it. No crash. Alright, so let me look at the time. I think it was pretty good.
Yeah, Jack4l, you're 23:12 for the run.
23:12. Yeah, I think that's both PB and world record because my previous PB was at 23:31. And there's like 3 more people, and there's like 3 people in grand total who run this game, and I'm one of them. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Okay, so if you want to play this map, probably you won't because you're not interested in the game to begin with. On speedrun.com you can copy paste the game's mod name, and then there will be a zip file that has the executable thing. You just copy it into the game's main directory, and then you're all set. But yeah, I advise you when it crashes a lot. For me it doesn't, but for you, who knows. Alright, so I believe that's it, so thank you for having me. I'm really proud to showcase this mod, although chaotic and broken. I think it's fun if it presumably it doesn't crash to begin with, so yeah, I think that's me. I think that's all, so thank you for having me once again, and I wish you to enjoy the rest of the marathon. That's it from me. See ya.
Alright, perfect. Thanks, Jack4l. Congrats on the PB. Everyone stay put. We're going to have another run coming after some setup. We're going to have Abby's Corner doing Fashion Police Squad, so stick tight. We'll be right back.